David went on to become a brilliant military strategist and city planner. Jerusalem was his idea. It was David who made it the capital of Israel and united the kingdom under his rule. He was artistic, too, a musician and a composer of songs. He was God's anointed one. The book of Kings describes him by saying, David did what was right in the sight of the Lord, and did not turn aside from anything that he commanded him all the days of his life, except in the matter of Uriah the Hittite. Uriah the Hittite. Last week, Bishop Mike shared the first half of the story of David and Uriah and Bathsheba. Uriah was a loyal soldier in David's army, and the unfortunate husband of the beautiful Bathsheba. David happened to see Bathsheba bathing one day. He took one look, and he had to have her. So David sent messengers to bring Bathsheba to him, and before long she sent back a message of her own. "I'm pregnant," she said, and David's strategical mind went to work. The first thing David tried was a cover-up. Uriah had been away in battle for a long time, but if David could get Uriah and Bathsheba together for a romantic weekend, Uriah might believe the child was his. The only problem was that, like all the other soldiers, Uriah was sworn to celibacy until the fight was over. So David ordered him home to Jerusalem and told him to go see his wife, but Uriah refused. Exasperated, David changed his strategy. He wrote a letter to Uriah's commander, ordering Uriah to the front lines of battle. David then instructed the commander to draw back from Uriah so that he might be struck down and killed by the enemy. Charming story, right? It's no wonder that our recent youth group curriculum attempted to gloss over the details of this chapter in David's life. Because what David ordered is exactly what happened. Uriah was killed, and our first lesson for today opens with Bathsheba and mourning. Once her mourning is complete, David marries her, Bathsheba bears him a son, and King David's reputation remains intact. But while David may have saved face within the public eye, the Lord was displeased with what he had done. And so soon enough, the prophet Nathan was knocking at the front door to the palace, sent by God to confront the king. Now, the way he did this was brilliant, not head-on like a fire and brimstone preacher, but sideways with story. Why would he take such an indirect route? You see, Nathan had come not to condemn David. He was up to something much more profound than that. Nathan had come to change David's life, if he could, to help the king see what he had done, so that his conscience was revived and his sense of justice restored. Then Israel might have the king that she deserved, instead of this handsome hero who had begun to abuse his power. You see, those who are in positions of power and surrounded by admirers and supporters, they often succumb to the illusion that they are in control of their own destiny. And when they do this, they often start to think that they can define for themselves their own moral code to govern their actions. But if Nathan could get David outside of that thinking and help David to see his own brokenness, if David could pronounce judgment on himself, the impact would be 100 times greater than if Nathan did it for him. And maybe, just maybe, it would bring David back to God. So Nathan told David a story, knowing how people tend to drop their defenses when they're listening to a story about someone else. When words are not aimed right at us, we can listen better. This is what happened to David when Nathan told him about the rich man with many flocks and the poor man with nothing but one little ewe lamb. When the rich man stole the poor man's beloved sheep, David rushed to the split in two. I have sinned against the Lord, David said. Not because Nathan had told him so, but because he had discovered it for himself. And that was the beginning of David coming back to life again. Technically, he should not have been able to come back from it. David had broken 3 of the 10 commandments in short order. He coveted, he committed adultery, and he murdered. And he also acknowledged his sins and had even condemned himself to death. That's not what God had in mind for him. Nathan went on to tell David that the Lord had put away his sin and that he would not die. That was the good news. The bad news is that David's child would die, because in conceiving him, David had utterly scorned the Lord. This may be the hardest part of the story of David and Bathsheba, that a child should die for his father's sin. And I neither want nor know how to explain it to you. There's a commonly and long-held belief that while God has given us free will to decide how to live, God has also set boundaries on that freedom. So there are mortal limits which we trespass at our own risk. We are free to trespass, to keep going past that sign that proclaims none shall pass. But when we do, there are consequences. And consequences are different from punishments. Because the God I know is not the sort that would sit just past the boundaries deciding whether to hit trespassers with a bolt of lightning or a sickly child. That would not be freedom. That would be a booby trap. Instead, I believe that God in all compassion has described for us how the world works, letting us know that it is not only a material universe that we live in, but a moral one, in which ethical acts have consequences, just as physical acts do. Drop a stone out a window, and it will fall to the ground. Conceive a child, try to pawn it off on another man, and make its mother a widow, and the child will suffer for all of that. Because it's the will of God? Well, I don't think it's that simple. But I do think that we live in a web of relationship with God and one another and all of creation that responds to the choices we make. Maybe it's not only those who are in positions of power that are prone to think they are in control of their own destinies. Maybe we are all apt to forget that we are not morally autonomous. There are realities governing our lives together that we cannot go up against without sooner or later discovering the consequences. Still, there's hope. For when we discover these consequences as individuals, as communities, as a nation, God does not turn away from us. God sends us prophets to wake us up, to tell us stories that show us who we really are. And if we are lucky enough to feel our hearts split in two, then maybe we will find that even the death sentences we have pronounced on ourselves are lifted. Because the recognition of the sin is the beginning of the end of it. The moment we know who we are and say it out loud, God can hear us, find us, and take us home. Things were never the same for David after the matter of Uriah the Hittite. He buried his firstborn son. There were lasting consequences that he lived with for the rest of his life. But the point is that he lived. God took him back and gave him new opportunities to exercise his God-given freedom. He and Bathsheba had a second son named Solomon, who ruled Israel for 40 years with unprecedented wisdom. David's line survived to produce a boy named Jesus, who no doubt heard this same same story about his ancestors, David and Bathsheba. So was David a good man or a bad man? I think he was both, as most of us are. But if we remember him as a hero, I hope it's not because of Goliath, or the Psalms, or the war stories. I hope it's because of that moment with Nathan, when he saw who he was and said so that God could say, "Come home." In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.